Hello everybody. Today we're going to be going over the new lore we were just dropped in the latest animated short, No Day at the Beach, and a little theory that I have regarding it. This dropped a few days ago with the intermission update. Log in to get some free swimsuit skins, by the way. And whilst I was originally not going to talk about the lore since it's merely a taste of the Shadow storyline conclusion that we'll be getting soon, we still don't know exactly when that update will drop. And the last time I held off on doing a lore video from an animated short expecting a conclusion in the very next update was for the Foregone animated short, which was, oh my god, over a year now. Plus, I've had a lot of people on both my Discord and even the Clay forums wanting to know about what this short means. So let's not waste any more time and dive into how Maxwell probably wanted to kill one of his fellow survivors. Now, I'm not going to do a full step-by-step retelling of the entire short, since I expected you to already have watched it. The link is in the description if you didn't. But essentially, it shows Maxwell trying to relax on the beach, only to be wronged over and over again by his fellow survivors. Wilson, Wurt, Warley, Wolfgang, and then Wes, with him scrawling in his book, notably not the Codex Umbra by the way, each time that he gets annoyed, with him looking more and more maniacal each and every time. However, after he seems satisfied writing Wes's name in the book, the other survivors invite Maxwell to their festivities, with each of the survivors that wronged him offering him something nice. The short then concludes with a look into Maxwell's book, showing the names of all of the survivors that annoyed him in the exact sequence that they did so in the short, but with their names scrawled out. He then writes a little question mark and taps his pencil on the book, as his impatience is then reflected onto Charlie's, as the short ends. Okay, I said I wouldn't do a retelling, but I just did anyway. That was the No Day at the Beach animated short. A fun little story of moody Maxwell being annoyed and then being included into the survivors' little beach holiday. On the surface, not much was said or shown in this short, but we need to look into the real reason as to why Maxwell was writing names and ruminating in his little book. It's not his death note or his diary, but the reason why Maxwell was listing all of the survivors that annoyed him holds some potentially deep significance. And to find out more about that significance, we need to go back a little bit. Specifically to the Encore short from almost 4 years ago. In this short, I'm not going to do a whole retelling of this one, we only need to talk about the one scene. And as often as it is with these shorts, it's the one at the very end. The scene where Maxwell is seen meeting up with Charlie, and after everything that happened between them in the past, both inside and out of the Constant thanks to the whole trapping her in here forever, check out my Who is Charlie video to learn more, Maxwell and Charlie are shown to be back on working terms once more, after being enemies for a very long time. Fast forward a year later to the Terrors Below animated short, we see Maxwell and Charlie meeting up once more, with Charlie whispering something into Maxwell's ear, before disappearing, leaving Maxwell both shocked and bewildered. Originally, we had no idea what she was telling him, and to be honest with you, we still don't have an actual answer. It could be anything. But with the information that we've gathered from both this animated short and the latest summer one, I think I have a theory. And it's a theory I bluntly stated at the start of this video. In order for Charlie's plans, whatever they may be, to fully come to fruition, there needs to be a sacrifice. One of the survivors is needed for something they probably don't want to be a part of. And those names that Maxwell wrote down in his book, the names of the people that wronged him, the names of people he was so maniacally gleeful to write down, those were people he was willing to offer up for whatever they need to be offered up for. And yes, that did include Wurt, by the way. Maxwell was almost ready to potentially give up a child just because she splashed water on him. He's always been so bitter, hasn't he? However, as we saw at the end of the summer short, those names were scribbled out. Due to the names being written in the same order he was wronged, I doubt he scribbled them out as they wronged him, and that he only did so after their display of kindness, with their balloon thrones, parasol, and delicious treats. Maxwell, most likely due to said display of kindness towards him, had second thoughts. He was someone who trapped and tormented these people for so long. Someone who sees themselves as deserving of no forgiveness or kindness from the people he crossed so dearly in the past. And despite all of that, those same people still see him as a fellow survivor and most likely a friend, so long after he was their enemies. Maxwell scribbled out the names from his potential murder list because he just can't do it. He cannot be the one responsible for betraying or potentially letting harm befall the people that, despite everything that has happened and how much their lives were completely upended thanks to him, are able to both forgive him and then view him as a friend. Charlie tapping her fingers at the end of the short is most likely in frustration and impatience of Maxwell's inability to choose a sacrifice. Either Maxwell needs to hurry up and choose someone, or back out of whatever deal he made with his former partner all those shorts ago. The description of the short itself even alludes to the warming of Maxwell's cold, dead heart. This is all just a big theory, of course, but I love this. If any of this is true, then it shows us that Maxwell is fully leaving his old nefarious life behind. A character whose entire gimmick and personality is one of pride and dominion, choosing to no longer walk down that path simply thanks to the power of forgiveness and kindness from those that owe none to the person responsible for bringing them here. This dimension where they were stolen from the real world and are forced to suffer day in and day out. But then again, a lot of the survivors see the constant as a new beginning. A lot of the survivors were originally unsatisfied with their original lives before being tricked and ending up here, in a world where they can actually finally be whoever and whatever they want to be. Maybe, even as time went on, some of the survivors were even thankful for what Maxwell did to them. Sure, they're constantly fighting for survival, harshing the elements and fighting wild animals, but as you can see in this animated short and even many others, they're still smiling. Though this logic doesn't really work for Wiley, since his life seemed pretty good before coming here, and Maxwell didn't really fix anything. But even then, the man in question is still seen happy in this trailer, and is still seen showing kindness towards Maxwell. However, whatever this means for Charlie's plans in the long run, time will tell. I can't imagine Charlie ever expected the survivors to ever forgive Maxwell and complicate their little plans. Speaking of those little plans though, what were they? What did Charlie need a potential sacrifice for? A ritual involving Shroudin? A champion to fight a big scary monster for her? Or maybe a popular theory that I've seen going around, someone to take her place on the Nightmare Throne, while she, for whatever reason, may need to be absent from it. The names that Maxwell was writing down could have been potential candidates to entrap on the Nightmare Throne, a place that he, and even Wilson, would equate to torture. The only reason that Charlie is able to move so freely on the Nightmare Throne is most likely due to Methius. The vignette that we got with the 2026 roadmap showing a vacant Nightmare Throne really does allude to the fact that Charlie will be gone, and that the throne itself might be left vacant. Not to mention as well, in the very same vignette, we see Maxwell holding the rose that Charlie gave him in that animated short, as its petals just blow away in the wind, symbolizing betrayal or something bad happening to Charlie. Either way, I feel like she's going to have a much harder time finding a new pawn for whatever game she has planned, since it seems that Maxwell might finally be changing sides for good. Maybe she'll need to start taking things into her own hands and Lord knows how that might play out. But please, do let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below, on my Discord, or even on the Clay forums. I deliberately kept things open and ambiguous because both A, it's a theory and we can only speculate, and B, because I'm dying to hear more opinions and takes on all of this. Do you think that Maxwell will ultimately make a sacrifice? Do you think that he'll back out or maybe even offer up himself for whatever he needs to do? And if he had to choose someone, who do you think that he should choose? And of course, what would they even need that sacrifice for? I know I just asked a lot of questions instead of answering them, but I'm just dying to know more. Thankfully, we know for a fact that the next update will be the ultimate one for the Shadow questline, so all of this will hopefully be answered in due time. And most likely, all of this will be wrong and out of date when that happens. But it's the fun of making theories. You capture a moment in time that nothing else ever can. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I apologise if this lore video seems a little bit different and off the rails when compared to the usual ones, but I've just been itching to talk about this and I don't want to be too late to get my thoughts out there. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.